Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurulmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Gurum Shri Padakamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishaka Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhayevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namo Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Prabhuji, thank you very much for joining in today on this Wednesday. Prabhuji, we are reading the Srimad Bhagavatam. We are on Canto 3, Chapter 7. Chapter 7 is Further Inquiries by Vidura, and the text for today is text 12. Prabhuji, I hand over to you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Savai Nivrita Dharmena Vasudeva Anukampaya Bhagavad Bhakti Yogena Tirodhate Shanair Iha. So, translation and purport by His Divine Grace, Sri Bhaktivedanta Swami Shri Prabhupada Prabhupada Ki Jai. By that misconception of self-identity can be diminished. Sorry, I'll repeat again. But that misconception of self-identity can be diminished gradually by the mercy of the personality of Godhead, Vasudeva, through the process of devotional service to the Lord in the mode of detachment. Okay, any devotee likes to read the purport?
Dennis Prabhu, can you please read?
The quivering quality of material existence, which comes from identification with matter, or from thinking oneself under the material influence of philosophical speculation to be God, can be eradicated by devotional service to the Lord. May the mercy of the personality of Godhead, Vasudeva, as discussed in the first canto, because the application of devotional service to Lord Vasudeva invites pure knowledge, it quickly detaches one from material conception of life and thus revives one normal condition of the spiritual existence, even in this life, and frees one from material wings which cause one to quiver. Only knowledge in devotional service can elevate one toward the path of liberation. The development of knowledge for the purpose of knowing everything without rendering devotional service is considered fruitless labor, and one cannot get the desired result by such labor of love. Lord Vasudeva is pleased by devotional service only, and thus by his mercy is realized by association with pure devotees of the Lord. Pure devotees of the Lord are transcendental to all material desires, including the desire for the results of fruitful activities and philosophical speculation. If one acquires the mercy of the Lord, he has to associate. If one wants to acquire the mercy of the Lord, he has to associate with pure devotees. Such association alone, by degrees, release one from the quivering elements. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. It's a very, very important verse, because in the previous verse, we can read the previous verse where it said that our people become cheated by the illusion energy. And there are people completely in illusion. And what is the effect? They think themselves to be God. So in the previous verse, number 11, it said that as the moon reflected on the water appears to the seer to tremble due to being associated with the quality of water, so the self associated with matter appears to be qualified as matter. So this is a very living example. If you are sitting by a lake or a river, and if there is a moonshine, if there's a moon, then what happens? The reflection of the moon as it comes on the water, when the wind comes or air moves, the water will shimmer. So a seer may think that the moon is shimmering, but the moon doesn't shimmer. The moon is fixed. In the similar way, this misconception brings us the quivering. Here the word using is quivering. I'll read the translation again. But that misconception of self-identity can be diminished gradually by the mercy of the personality of Godhead. Vasudeva, through the process of devotional service to the Lord in the mode of detachment. Now, Bhakti Yoga has different names, at least 3 names. We ought to know them. If you read the 2nd chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Bhakti Yoga, Shri Krishna uses as Buddhi Yoga. Verse number 39, 239. He calls it Buddhi Yoga because it needs intelligence, good intelligence, to render service to Krishna. That's why it's called Buddhi Yoga. Then it's called Bhakti Yoga, which is used in many, many verses throughout Bhagavad Gita. And if you go to Chaitanya Charitamrita, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya calls Bhakti Yoga as art devotional service. Naturally, the detachment will follow. Otherwise, to become detached from material world is not easy. Who can, Prahlad Maharaj says, who can give up the broken language of a small child? Is so pleasing. Who can give up a nice wife? Who can give up nice parents? And so on. But Bhakti Yoga can sever the ties to all these attachments, even to home, earth, property, and so on. So, Sri Prabhupada says, the biggest illusion is created when one defies God. When one is rebellious to God, then the Maya becomes very, very strong. Just like, I don't know if you have an experience, I have a very good experience. When many years ago, I used to work in a shop, and we had a toy section. And in the toy section, there were shekels. I don't know if you know shekels. Does everybody know shekels? What do you call? When police catches you, puts metal shackles. And then they put a key that they lock it. So one
Handcuff.
of our
Handcuff.
handcuffs, yes. Another word is handcuffs. In Kiswahili, they call it pingu. So anyway, those shackles are designed in such a way, the more you try to release yourself, they become more tightened. So one of our directors, he was fooling around and he put the shackles on his hands and he got tied up. And the more he tried to loosen himself, it became more tighter. And apparently he had misplaced the key. See, he almost came to tears. And he's such a mature man. So he's telling me, please cut this, free me. How do I get free from this? So that's an example of Maya. The more you try to free yourself from Krishna, the more she'll lock you up. In the third chapter in the purport, Srila Prabhupada says, those who defy God, who don't obey God, they'll be shackled by sex life. That's why this material world is also called Maithunya Agra. Maithunya Agra means you can't free. You don't want to believe Krishna, you don't want to serve Krishna, you serve your senses. Immediate answer. So here Srila Prabhupada says there are those who are completely in illusion, and the biggest kind of Maya is to think oneself to be God. Just like Hiranyakashipu, he thought he's God. Ravan also thought he's God, but Hiranyakashipu was the worst of all. He actually announced everywhere, I am God, and I should be worshipped, nobody else. So this is the biggest kind of illusion. It's a misconception. Now that is on a very high level. On an ordinary level, you'll find that people have a kind of Aishwarya thinking that I can control, or I should be the boss, I should be the control. And generally, these people, the symptom is anger. They're very angry people. If you don't do things as they want, they become very angry. So this is also a misconception. Now here, in the purport, Srila Prabhupada says, this misconception or illusion that I am God can at once be eradicated by engaging in loving devotional service to Krishna. And it is by his mercy this illusion will wear away, not otherwise. You cannot come out of this illusion without the help of Krishna. When Krishna speaks about illusion or Maya in the 7th chapter, in the words of Devi Aisa Gunamaya, if you go to the purport, Srila Prabhupada explains very nicely, if you want to be freed, if you're a bound person, then you have to look for a person who is not bound. Only an unbound person can help a bound person. But if everyone is bound, then who can free who? Nobody. Now you talk of big, great souls like Lord Shiva, Lord Brahma, very great souls. Even they are illusioned, and they are put into Maya. So they cannot even free you. Only person who can free you is Krishna, and that is by his mercy. And how does his mercy come in? By engaging in devotional service, especially hearing. There's a very beautiful purport. If you go to the 13th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, does anybody have a Bhagavad Gita in the hand or in front of themselves? Anybody?
Yes,
If you go
Prabhuji.
to just go to the Bhagavad Gita. You go to the 13th chapter, verse number 22, the last paragraph. If you go to the second paragraph, have you seen it?
Yes.
How he is put into such different bodies. Okay, read if you have the book.
How he is put into such different bodies is explained here. It is due to association with the different modes of nature. One has to rise, therefore, above the three material modes and become situated in the transcendental position. That is called Krishna consciousness. Unless one is situated in Krishna consciousness, his material consciousness will oblige him to transfer from one body to another because he has material desires since times immemorial. But he has to change that conception. That change can be affected only by hearing from authoritative sources. The best example here, Arjuna is hearing the science of God from Krishna. The living entities, if he submits to the hearing process, will lose his long cherished desires to dominate material nature, and gradually and proportionately, as he reduces his long desires to dominate, he comes to enjoy spiritual happiness. In a Vedic mantra, it is said that as he becomes learned in association with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he proportionately relishes his eternal blissful life. Hare
This
Krishna.
is one of the best purports in which Sri Prabhupada, of course, all the purports are good, but this particular purport emphasizes hearing. If you can hear about Krishna, then the bhakti begins, not otherwise. Sri Prabhupada quotes from the first canto, Vasudeve Bhagavati Bhakti Yoga Prayojita Janesu Asu Vairagyam Jnaninam, something like that. So in that verse, which appears in the first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, it says by Bhagavati. Bhagavati means engaging in devotional service. Bhagavati Bhakti Yoga. To who? Vasudeva. Vasudeva means to Krishna. As soon as it begins, it has two side products, detachment and knowledge. You do not need to detach. Automatically you will become detached. Because once you engage in devotional service, at least for a considerable time, you'll realize at once that this is important. What is important? Anything that is favorable in Krishna consciousness is important. Anything not favorable in Krishna consciousness should be rejected. So, you take up favorable things which will enhance your devotional service. Would any devotee like to give some examples of favorable services? Anybody? Name some of the things which will enhance your bhakti. Which are they?
So following the regulatory principles,
Yeah. Following
chanting,
the rules and regulations of bhakti yoga, number one. Okay. Number two,
chanting the
chanting
holy
Hare.
name,
Number two. Number three,
association with devotees, service.
associating with devotees. And we just read hearing. Yeah. Now, hearing and chanting leads to what? To remembrance of Krishna. Remember that. If you hear daily, you're going to chant daily. And if you do these two things, you'll be directed. The remembrance will automatically come. But if you do not do these two things, don't expect remembrance of Krishna to continue. It will come and go. It will be seasonal. But if you want it continuous, then you have to hear and chant regularly. And this will lead one to pure knowledge. Pure knowledge is mentioned in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 7, verse number 19, where it says that Baudam Jadmanamante Gyanavam Mam Prapadyate Vasudeve Sarvamiti Sa Mahatma Sudullabha. After many, many births, one will realize that Krishna or Vasudeva is everything, cause of all causes. Such a person is very rare. So to come to that platform of pure knowledge is not easy. Without engaging in devotional service, don't expect this knowledge to come into you. Not possible. But if you engage in devotional service like hearing, chanting, remembering, serving, and so on, then this knowledge will automatically come. The effect of devotional service is it makes you humble, it makes you meek, brings you down at the feet of Krishna. And when you kneel down at the feet of Krishna, Krishna gives you a lot of mercy. Or to a pure devotee, the result is the same. So anyway, as you engage in devotional service, the immediate factor is that you will realize that you are related to Krishna. Constitutionally, we are all related to Krishna. I have spoken this mantra many, many times. Jivera Sarupai Krishnera Nitya Das. So we are Krishna's Das. Nitya means eternal, servitors of Krishna. And as soon as one realizes one's relationship or has this knowledge of relationship, which is called Sambandha Jnana, knowledge of relationship, then you become spiritually stronger. And as you become stronger, then these winds of the material enjoyment will stop blowing and you'll stop quivering. Again, Prabhupada used the word quiver. Sometimes we think we are gods or we have become God. But as soon as some Maya gives you a slap, you start quivering, you start shaking. Isn't it? Just like we all have gone through some experience in which we had some accident. Accident doesn't literally mean a car accident. It can be many accidents. You can fall down from steps. You're trying to put something in the kitchen. Something slips from your hand. You're trying to cook something and whatever you're cooking pours over. So we go through so many accidents. And each time we get a lesson that I am a conditioned soul. I am not independent. If you are an intelligent person. So it's not that you keep making mistakes and accidents to gain this knowledge. No, Krishna will always teach you. Okay, enough and enough. And when you say enough, it is for your good. Then you surrender. And when you surrender, that's when Krishna's mercy comes through via a pure devotee, through the association of devotees. Krishna doesn't come to give you mercy. He sends it through the via medium of devotees. So it says that once you have this knowledge of surrendering to Krishna, this will lead you to the path of liberation, not otherwise. If you want to be liberated, you have to keep serving Krishna. Bow down to Krishna. 4 golden rules. Always think of me, become my devotee. Bow down to me and take refuge in me. Man mana bhava mad bhakto mad yajimam namashkuru. The famous 2 lines, which appear twice in Bhagavad Gita, 934 and 1865. You should learn these 2 lines. Now, even if you become knowledgeable, let's say you have knowledge of so many things, the highest knowledge is the knowledge between matter and spirit, and many, many sub-branches. But knowledge is not enough if you do not render service to Krishna. Because the mind will become dry. There will be no sweetness in your mind. Now, when your mind has no sweetness, there can't be a smile on your face. Not possible. You'll become a very serious person. So don't go into such situations. There's a book I was reading from His Holiness Shivam Swami. In one of the articles, he's explaining difference between spirituality and religiousness very well. Many people don't want to become religion because there are so many wars and fights in the name of religion. People will accept the word spirituality. What is spirituality? Is to know yourself, know your relation with Krishna. More spiritually become stronger, then you can render service very nicely, not otherwise. And as you hear and hear, you'll become spiritually stronger. Without hearing, this is not possible. We are so much conditioned that sometimes one thing has to be told to us 1,000 times, not 3 times, 1,000 times. Then it goes into this tiny brain, not otherwise. So when you hear submissively, even in the 7th chapter, the opening verse, Maya, what is called? Maya Shakta Mana Partha Yogam Yunjanvad Ashraya. In that verse, Krishna emphasizes Arjuna to hear. If you hear, better for you. And as you hear and hear and hear, then what happens? The doubts go. Asamshayam samagram. Asamshaya means without any doubts. You cannot become free from the doubts if you are not hearing. We find some devotees, even in our ISKCON, they say, no, I'm not going to hear. I will hear on my tape, on my phone, or on my computer. And these are the people who lag behind. You have to hear, especially in the company of devotees. Because in the company of devotees, you get so much discussion, and it makes the subject matter very clear. I'll give you an example of just today. Today in the morning, we had a Bhagavatam class about Bhishma, and Bhishma Pita is about to die. And we learned two things from that purport. One thing is one should prepare for death from very early. And second is one should also know how will I die? What would be my condition? If that anxiety is there, then you'll seek for knowledge. That's why those two famous verses in Bhagavad Gita is there. Antakale chamameva tyajate ante kalevaram. In that verse, he says, whoever thinks of me, at the time of that will come to me, of which there is no doubt. And in the next verse number 6 in the 8th chapter, it says that whatever state you are thinking, whatever state of being you are thinking, is what you'll become in your next life. So Bhishma is a very excellent example in which, as we read the chapter, we'll come to realize that we will, first thing Bhishma Pita says is, or Prabhupada says, we are all eventually going to die. There is no exemption. That is for sure. Second thing is, how we are going to die is important, and in which way we are going to die. And Bhishma had prepared everything. He even had a boon or a blessing that he can die only when he wishes to die. I think everybody knows that. But he took up the right time to die when he knew that now Hastinapur is safe, Yudhishthira has become the king. And now the time is favorable because the sun is traveling to the north. And Krishna is in front of him. His dear Pandavas are in front of them. He fixed his mind upon Krishna and he leaves his body. This is called preparing the body. So when Lavanga Prabhu finished his class, it was a nice class. Then after 1 hour, we got a news that one of the leaders of our country, Raila Odinga, passed away. So at once we remembered the words, did he prepare? Did he prepare? So anyway, we were just reflecting on the class, how even big people, they die immediately. Or it's like they want to live longer, but they can't. Time up. Many times Prabhupada says, when the death comes, the dying person says, a minute more. And the death says, not even a second. See the argument. Not even a second. You can't live. Go. These are the words of Prabhupada. And that, remember, is also a representation of Krishna. In the 11th chapter, Krishna declares, time I am. I have come here to kill everyone. With the exception of the Pandavas, nobody will survive this war. And it happened like that. Pandavas, none of them died. Everyone else died. Even the big heroes, Bhishma, Dronacharya, Ashwatthama, Karna, they all died. So we can learn these things only if you are hearing about Krishna. Next, Prabhupada says, knowledge is not important. It is the service that is more important. So every devotee should mark this. They think if I become knowledgeable, then I'll know everything. Knowing everything is not important. Yes, knowing Krishna is important. But even after knowing Krishna, if you don't render service, what is the use? For example, A child and a mother got separated for many, many years. Child may not be remembering his mother. And after many years, he meets his mother. In a Vedic culture, when you meet your mother, what do? You touch her feet. So he'll be doubtful of touching the feet because he's not sure whether this is the mother. Unless someone tells him that, yes, this is your mother. In the similar way, when Krishna is going to appear in front of us, when we are dying, and if we are fortunate, we'll be able to touch his feet because we know what is Krishna. And the indication of who is Krishna, his identity is given in two scriptures, at least Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam. So we have to hear about Krishna. At the same time, as you realize Krishna by rendering service in the association of devotees, Prabhupada repeats that, in the association of devotees, then the mercy of Krishna will flow to you, not otherwise. When a devotee is happy, Krishna is happy. Anybody knows the last line of Mangalarati? Anybody? Okay, I'll sing that. Yasha Prasada.
Prasadaat Bhagavat Prasado Yasha Prasadam Nagati Kutopi Dhyayantu Mantasya Yasasrisanyam Vande Guru Shri Charanarvindam.
Thank you, Mataji. So without pleasing the devotee of the Lord, who is a spiritual master, Krishna will not be pleased. And without pleasing the spiritual, if you please the spiritual master, then Krishna will be pleased. And when he is pleased, he'll offer you the mercy. He'll give you the nectar to drink. And that nectar is called an eternal life, a nectar of eternal life. Devotional service gives you an eternal life. Many people do not know the value of devotional service. Actually, it bestows you a life which is unending. You are not going to die if you are going to engage in devotional service. You are going to live forever, forever, forever. With who? With Krishna, with the devotees. It's the greatest boon that devotional service gives you. So, this is the way Krishna gives the mercy. You'll hear many people complaining, oh, I come to temple, I pray, but Krishna doesn't listen. Have you gone through a devotee? Ask such people. And if you pray with sincerity, Krishna does answer. It's not that we are many, so Krishna doesn't have time for each one of us. No, he has time for each one of us because he is residing as Paramatma in our heart. So he listens to your prayer. At the right time, he will answer it. And I can give you a dozen examples of that happening in our temple. Anyway, that's another section. Now, who is a pure devotee? He's free from speculative knowledge. He doesn't speculate it. How do you stop speculating? Is to accept the purports of Prabhupada as they are. Don't change them. Don't try to think that, no, let me alter this. Let me try to explain this way. No. Accept the teachings of Prabhupada the way it is in the purport. That will stop your speculation. No mental speculation, and then not demanding any fruitive results. When you're serving Krishna, don't demand anything. Don't demand anything. Except one thing you can demand. Which one is that? Mama janmani ishware bhakta bhakti ahitami. Give me devotional service, birth after birth. This you can demand, no problem. And Krishna will be very pleased, very, very pleased if you ask such things from Krishna. So, the whole main verse of the book, Nectar of Devotion, it's called the vertebra of the Nectar of Devotion, is Anya Bilashita Shunyam Jnana Karmadi Anavritam Anukulyena Krishnam Sevanam Bhakti Uchyate. The translation is a devotional service which is free from mental speculation and fruitive results, and only meant to please Krishna is the best kind of devotional service. And this is the subject matter of nectar of devotion. Srila Rupa Goswami says, if you are rendering service to Krishna, do it with folded hands. Don't demand anything. And do it with your head down, which means humility. Be very humble. Render your service to the best of your capacity. And this will please Krishna. And when Krishna is pleased, then everyone else is pleased. All the demigods are pleased. Everyone else in this world is pleased with you. May not be knowing. Everyone is happy when you please Krishna. So in the end, it says, association of devotees is the biggest remedy to make us stop quivering in Maya. Quivering means in Maya. It means you are not fixed. You are looking at Krishna, you are looking at Maya. You are not sure whom to serve. Of course, those who serve Maya will remain in darkness. If you get a bit of a glimpse to serve Krishna, you'll be delivered, uplifted from the dark well of Maya. You can't stay in Maya if you have come to Krishna. No way. Because Krishna is not just a torchlight. Krishna is the sun. Krishna Surya Sama Maya Hai Andhakar. Jaha Krishna Tahanai Maya Adhikar. Wherever there is Krishna, Krishna is like the sun. There can be no darkness, or there cannot be Maya. And once Krishna has come, the Maya has to go, or the darkness has to go. So this verse emphasizes the knowledge about Krishna. To remove this ignorance from you that you are not God. That is the whole subject matter of this purport. You are not God, you are not Krishna. And don't ever think that you are a God. No. You are part and parcel of God. You may at the maximum say that you are a very small God. Because there is a small qualitative equality with Krishna. Krishna is Sachidananda. We are also Sachidananda. But in a very small portion, like a point of a pin. And Krishna is massive. That is the difference. So the purport emphasizes or answering the question of Vidura. Why people stay in illusion? This is the answer. Hare Krishna. The time is up also. If anybody likes to add something or anyone likes to ask something, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, thank you so much for today's session. I open it up for any questions or comments.
Hare Krishna. Prabhuji, please accept my humble obeisances. I had a question that if is it possible that Bhishma Pitama, he would have still gone to Krishna if it wasn't at that right time, because Krishna was still in front of him? Would he have still gone back to God if it wasn't the right time? Thank you.
It's a very good question. He was destined to go to Krishna. There is no doubt about it. But he's teaching us how to die. That's the lesson he taught the world. We should know a bit of, if you go a little backwards, we find that Yudhishthira was lamenting for the huge massacre that took place in the war of Mahabharata. So when he was told to sit on the throne, he felt very guilty. So people tried to explain to him that this war had to take place. It was inevitable. But nothing could slow down or nothing could pacify him. Because Krishna had a plan that to glorify Bhishma, he should go to Bhishma. So that's why Yudhishthira had to go to Bhishma. And Krishna knew that he very soon is going to give up body. And that's why even Bhishma, even if he had died not in front of Krishna, he would have still gone to Krishna. Because it's explained in the Bhagavatam that when Bhishma was about to kill Arjuna, Krishna advanced in front of him with a broken chariot's wheel. And as he advanced, Bhishma was completely meditating on Krishna. And he already set in the mind that form of Krishna, which is so dear, it looks like a Kshatriya carrying a wheel and in a fighting mood. So even if he had died, he was already a perfected soul. He would have gone to Krishna. But if you read Bhagavatam, why did he die? Krishna wanted him not to die, to give instruction to Yudhishthira. Because Yudhishthira, when he hears from his grandfather, Krishna is like his grandfather, then he will be pacified. And it did happen like that. He learned from Bhishma so many things. Sri Dharma, Raj Dharma, Varnashram Dharma, so many dharmas were taught by Bhishma. And then at the right time, it was 14th January, which is called Sankranti, when the sun moves from the south to from the south hemisphere to the northern hemisphere. And it is the right time. It's written also in Bhagavad Gita, if you read the 8th chapter. If someone dies in that period, in front of light or sun or fire, one will not come back. And if it is otherwise, he will come back. So Bhishma is no ordinary person, he's a Mahajan, and he teaches everything. Take another example. Take example of Prabhupada. He also passed away like Bhishma. He's preaching to the last breath of his life. So these are two very good examples how they would, how a person would die. Also, there are also many other examples. Devotees, whether Krishna appears or not appears, really speaking, devotees are actually seeing Krishna. But to teach by an example is better, so that we also prepare ourselves, learn from Bhishma how to die. The basic reason, the main ingredient of the Bhishma's life is a pure devotee of Krishna. Okay? I hope that answers your question.
Yes, thank you so much.
All right.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you so much for nice explanation of this verse. Bhishma Dev is very, very, very excellent, I should say, example that you are doing during this Kartik month. Bhishma Dev, why did Yudhishthira want to take? Why did Yudhishthira go to take advice? Because Krishna could have done the same, but Krishna wanted to give the fame, right, to Bhishma Dev.
Yes.
He always does that. He told Arjuna, I have already killed them, just throw the arrow and take the credit. He liked to give credit to his devotees. And Bhishma Dev was a great devotee of Krishna. Now, why I'm telling Bhishma Dev this month is very glorious, because of the last 5 days, there is a Bhishma Panchak fast coming, last 5 days of Kartik, right? So from last Ekadashi of this month till 5th of November, that is a Bhishma Panchak. But he fasted for the last 5 days. That was great austerity. Already he was fasting, but for the last 5 days, he didn't even take water. And this Bhishma Panchak is very beneficial, but we cannot keep because we have to survive on Panchagavya, which are 5 products from the cows, like ghee, dahi, yogurt, milk, and cow urine, cow dung. So these things, if we can go in detail, it's very, very nice to know about it. But here, what Bhishma Dev is teaching, that yes, he did that vrat because he wanted to see Krishna at the last minute when he's leaving his body. That's why he kept this fast. So for us, we cannot keep, because besides the Panchagavya, we have to take 1 item a day, and then that also by the river Ganga, and having a dip in the water at sunset, facing sunset, and then we can keep that fast. But then that's also, if we keep that bread, we should not be taking, okay, today I take milk, whole cup, tomorrow I'll take one spoon of cow urine. No, we have to take the same amount every day, and the 5th day, all 5 mixed together. But for us, there is a concession because we are not capable of, and there is no Ganga flowing around. So we can keep on fruits, we can keep on milk and fruits, we can keep on eating one time a day, or we can keep the 5 days on Ekadashi. So Bhishma Dev, he did the vrat. That is called Bhishma Panchak for the last 5 days. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you for informing everyone. There are people who do it. We have some devotees in the temple, they observe Bhishma Panchak very strictly. Okay, any other questions or suggestions, additions? Otherwise, we can wind up the class.
If there are no questions, can I request Eastern Prabhu, Hare Krishna Prabhu, are you able to end the session for today? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, please accept my humble obeisances. All glory to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for the wonderful class. We understood a lot today concerning illusion and how it can make us sway in our path in bhakti. Thank you so much for enlightening us. And I will invite every one of us to unmute and chant one round of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra in the glorification of His Grace Rukma Prabhu for the wonderful class. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha.
Jai.
Jai.
Srila Prabhupada ki.
Jai.
His
Jai.
Grace Rukma Prabhu ki.
Jai.
All grace the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.